Good day and welcome to WBGO. I am Gary Walker. And today we're going to give the drummer some. You know,
All
you've
right.
always heard that phrase, give the drummer some. Well, we're
Yeah.
going to. Brandon Sanders has a brand new recording out, folks. It's called Lasting Impression. And on this recording, he does Bobby Hutcherson, he does the Gershwins, he does a little Stevie Wonder, and some originals too. He shows off his chops as a composer, and also Eric Scott Reed writing a tune or two for this record. Lasting Impression, it's called. Now, before you have a lasting impression, what do you need? You need a first impression. So that's what we're going to get now. We welcome to WBGO Brandon Sanders.
Hey, Mr. Walker, how you doing today? Yeah, I'm
I'm
glad to
doing
be.
great, man. And your first impression of this music, like for many folks, is a household affair. Mother and father were both musicians, right?
Right. Yeah, my dad played trombone and my mother was a violinist many moons ago, many moons ago.
And this is out in Compton, right?
Yeah, yeah, out in Compton. My mother actually played in high school way back when she was a student in Kansas City. She went to a high school in Kansas City, then moved to the Compton area. She played violin in high school. Yeah.
We're gonna get back to Kansas City in a minute because I want to talk about Ernestine. But in the meantime, let's talk about you because growing up in Compton, a lot of people know that's a pretty rough place to grow up in. But music saved your life because you had a couple of turntables and
Yeah.
some music, right?
Yeah, my going back to Miss Ernestine, my grandmother sent me some money. At the time, hip hop was pretty popular in the mid 80s. It was coming up, and a couple of my friends had turntables, and I asked her to buy me two turntables for Christmas. So she sent me the money, and I went out and got two turntables, and I started DJing parties and collecting records and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
So, Brandon was a pretty popular guy in high school, you can imagine.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Now
yeah.
let's fast forward to the world of this music. What were
Okay.
your first influences in jazz? Obviously, your dad's record collection, right? Some highlights from that collection for you?
Yeah, when I was a kid, my dad had like Lee Morgan, like the Procrastinator. He had Tomcat. He also had, Spiral Gyra, Grover Washington, Sarah Vaughan, John Coltrane, all those records he played when I was a kid. And there was a radio station that when I got in trouble, like if I did something wrong, he would put me on punishment and make me listen to KKGO, was a jazz station out of Long Beach. When I was a little kid, he said, "Hey, sit down. You gotta listen to this. This is your punishment for the day." Not knowing that I was going to wind up enjoying it, be a jazz musician. Yeah.
I was going to ask, when did the punishment turn into replenishment, man? Because it really got you going in your career.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. I remember one day he said, "Well, I'm gonna give you a choice. Do you want to go outside or do you want to listen to these records?" And I said, "Well, I'll listen to the record." So yeah. I was about in the third or fourth grade when he did that. He said, "I'm gonna give you a privilege. You want to go outside or do you want to listen to these records?" And I decided to listen to the records.
Now, another influence in your life, we referenced a second ago, was your grandmother, Ernestine. Talk about her. She's from Kansas City.
Yeah.
And she,
So my grandmother from Kansas City, she owned a jazz club called the Casablanca. So, in the summer months, my mother would send me from Compton to Kansas City to spend the summer with her. I did that every year when I was about from 5 all the way up until I went to college. And she told me one day that she was a jazz club owner and because I was listening to some records, and she said, "Well, who's that on the turntable?" I said, "Well, that's Lou Donaldson." And she said, "I thought that was him." I said, "What you know about Lou Donaldson?" She said, "Boy, that man used to play at my club. Him and Grant Green and Stanley Turntable." I said, "When did you have a club?" She said, "In the late '60s." So yeah, she had a club called the Casablanca on the Kansas side.
and although you never attended that club, you
No, no.
certainly got the sense memory from Grandma. In fact, your second recording, which is entitled "The Tables Will Turn,"
Right.
the opening track on that is one of your originals, and it's called Miss Ernestine.
Yeah, misunderstanding. Yeah, it's a blue. It's a blues because my grandmother, man, she used to play a lot of blues, Bobby Blue Bland, BB King, Albert King, and she turned me on to like Jimmy Smith. So I was a big fan of the blues. So I wrote that tune, in 12 bar blues and inspiration, and showing my love for her and so much that she did for me.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah.
And it plays forth to today. We're talking with Brandon Sanders, kind of a late arrival to the world of jazz as a career because you picked up the drums at the age of 25. Now you went to Berkeley and befriended people like Warren Wolf, and you and Warren have remained close friends on and off the stage for
Right,
quite
yeah,
some time.
right. I've been knowing Warren since 2000, 2000. I met him when I first got to Berkeley, and him and a guy named Kendrick Scott and Walter Smith, they were all there at the same time. And I remember first hearing them, and I'm just like, man, there's no way I'm going to sound like that. And so Warren said, man, just keep practicing. And matter of fact, he gave me one of my first gigs. I remember one night he called me and said, man, my drummer got sick. So can you play? I said, man, I'm not ready to play with you guys. He said, well, the only way you're going to be ready is to get ready. You got to come and play with us. So yeah, I played with him at a place called the Wonder Bar, and then we started playing at a place called Wally's Jazz Cafe. I don't know if you're hip to that. That's in Boston, the Boston area.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Baptism by fire.
Yeah, baptism by fire. Yeah.
But you guys have remained friends. I mean, Warren's been on a number of your records, including this brand new one that's just out, Lasting Impression. In fact, the very first track on the album shows off Warren's spirit as well as yourself. And
Right.
saxophonist Stacy Dillard, Eric Scott Reed, is also part of this recording. Excuse me. Eric Wheeler on the bass, and the tune, a Bobby Hutcherson classic, 8/4 beat.
Yeah, yeah. That's that tune. Well, people don't know this that Bobby Hutcherson is originally from Los Angeles. And so I'm a huge, had to keep the West Coast in my heart and, show my love for Bobby Hutcherson. Yeah, that's taken from a tune from an album called Stick Up. He recorded that on Stick Up. And so I said, man, Warren, man, let's play this tune on this album for me, 8/4 beat. He says, yeah, sure, no problem. So he knocks it out the park, with that solo, sure.
He does indeed, man. And we're chatting with Brandon Sanders, and this new recording is called "Lasting Impression," and it's his third recording for the Savant record label. So you can tell he's had a lasting impression
Yeah.
on what's going on. The record is produced by Willie Jones III, and it was Willie that actually encouraged you to go into the studio for the first time, wasn't
Him and Warren, yeah, him and Warren said, "Hey, man, you got to start recording, make a statement, make sure that people, start hearing what you're doing. People got to come hear you play, and they got to see you play." And yeah, they both were encouraging. People don't know that me and Willie Jones went to the same elementary school as kids and didn't even know it until we got to New York. One day we were talking. I said, I said, Willie, you from LA? He said, yeah. And I said, what elementary school did you go to? And he named the school. And I said, well, man, I went there too. I never saw you there. So small world. Yeah, we went to the same elementary school.
Wow, and you've stayed in touch all these years,
Yeah, yeah. I talked.
on and off the bandstand, right?
Oh yeah, Willie is a huge mentor for me in this music. Him and Warren, I mean, they both give me advice on what to do, both musically and business wise. In this game of jazz.
There's a couple of pieces on this new recording that show off your composing skills, and One of them is a tune called Tales of Mississippi.
Yeah.
Talk about the genesis of that tune, if you would.
Well, I've been down to Mississippi, several times. I got family down there, and I some real, you always hear negative things about Mississippi. But when I've been down there, I've met some beautiful people, great food, great music, and just some good people. So I just named it. I wrote a tune in 3/4. So man, I'm just gonna call this "Tales of Mississippi" to talk about, show my love for all the people down south and how they've treated me and welcomed me down there.
Well, another tune I have to talk about is Lasting Impression because it left an impression with me because of the interplay between Stacy Dillard and Warren on this piece of music.
Yeah, well, it's once again, it's a blues. And the whole thing is, a lot of things, Gary. My music has a message to it. So when you think about lasting impression, when you meet somebody, you always want to leave a lasting positive impression on somebody. You always want to try to touch their lives. You know what I mean, in a good way. So that's the whole theme of that tune. A lot of people don't know that I'm a big fan of just good old blues. So I always write tunes like that.
Well, and the musicians around you certainly hold you in high respect. In
Yeah.
fact, there's another tune on this latest recording, the new recording, "Lasting Impression," written by Eric Scott Reed, and it's called "No BS" for BS.
Right. Yeah, Eric Scott Reed wrote that tune for me because he said, "Man, when you're in the studio, you transform into another person. It's like you don't take no stuff off of nobody." I said, "Yeah, kind of got to get all these guys in order, or else we'd be going all over the place." He said, "Man, you know how to put your foot down." So yeah, that's why he wrote that tune.
And what allows you to put your foot down time after time is the your eyes and ears are wide open to what's going on around you. And for many years, that's been the case with Brandon Sanders. Talk about a young lady who nobody knew when you first came in contact with her. And she ended up on your first recording and on this new recording, too. And I'm speaking of the wonderful Jasmia Horn. How did the two of you come together?
Well, one night I was playing a gig at a club in Brooklyn called 966. It's been around for years. It was around for years, and I needed a singer. And this was like very last minute. The gig was like at 8 o'clock, and it was like 7 o'clock. And I said, "Man, I gotta find a singer." So I there's a bass player. Her name is Adi Mayerson, who went to the new school. She's a great bass player. And I said, Adi, I need a singer. She said, "Well, I know somebody. She's new to town. Her name is Jasmia Horn." And I messaged Jasmia through Facebook Messenger, and she replied back right away. And the next thing you know, she showed up and she lit the jazz club up. Everybody loved her vocals. And the next thing you know, we started working a little bit around town, and then her career just shot up from there and there.
And on this record, you can hear her wonderful voice on the classic "Our Love Is Here to Stay," as well as a Stevie Wonder tune, "Until You Come Back to Me." That's what I'm gonna do.
Right.
It just lights it up, man.
Yeah. Well, going back to my grandmother, was a huge fan of Aretha Franklin, and so I said, Jazz, I want to sing. I want you to do this tune until you come back to me. And she did it. She did a great job on it. On it. Yeah, she did a great job.
Well, she obviously a big fan of Stevie Wonder because on the first record, she also does "I Can't Help It,"
Right,
Stevie
right,
Wonder classic as well.
right. Yeah, right. Yeah, and
and
then
and and we're talking with Brandon Sanders. And I think when I talk to you, I think of Art Blakey, who always said to his musicians, if you're going to play that tune, know the story behind that tune. And
right.
and that's one of the things that I think probably brought you to include a singer on every one of your records. Jazzmia was on the first one and the
Right.
third one, and in the middle is Christy Dashiell.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, she sang "Human Nature," sung by Michael Jackson. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What
She
is it about the contemporary music that you think transfers so easily? Well, it's got to be in the right hands, right? But it transfers pretty readily to the world of jazz. Why don't more people embrace the contemporary music of today and then reimagine it? Because it's the same thing. Sonny Rollins did it with the American Standard for years.
right, right,
But this music today, it may not be an American Standard yet,
right,
but
right,
a tune like Human Nature certainly qualifies, as does much of the book of Stevie Wonder as well.
right. Well, when I first started playing, my mother and father, they played records like that. One day you would one minute you would hear Lee Morgan, then the next minute you would hear Stevie Wonder, go to Michael Jackson, then you go to a John Coltrane album. So that's how I kind of like format my CD, my albums. Like I want to hear some straight. I want you to hear some straight ahead, but then I might want you to hear some Roberta Flack, or some Stevie Wonder or Smokey Robinson. It's just whatever I'm feeling at the time. That's how I grew up in my household. My mother and father played records like that.
And it speaks volumes to what Duke Ellington said. There's good music and bad music. And
Right,
and and it's the good music that
right.
that leaves a lasting impression.
Yes, yes, that's the goal every time, every time.
What do you got looking forward to in the future? I know you're going to be doing a bunch of live stuff upcoming. You're going to be featured next week on New Day, New Play at WBGO. We're going to feature cuts from Lasting Impression. But
Right. Well, I want to tell all your listeners, first of all, I want to thank all your listeners for listening to my albums. This is my third one, and I appreciate all the support. This coming Monday, we're going to be at November 17th, we're going to be at Dizzy's Coca-Cola Jazz at Lincoln Center. Uh, Going to be Richard Johnson on piano. Stacy Dillard on saxophone, Eric Wheeler on bass, and Warren Wolf on vibes. So we got two sets, a 7 and a 9. I mean, they will be in for a treat if they come out. I would love for everybody to come and show their support. They're going to be in for a good treat of swinging uh, jazz music.
it sounds fabulous, man. And that's the 17th at Dizzy's Club
Yes, this
in
is
New York City.
right. And then
And
I'm then on if you're in the LA area, I'll be at the World Stage November 28th. And December 9th, I'll be in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
well, you're just running around, man.
Yeah, yeah, trying to make a lasting impression. How about that?
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
And I love me some Stacy Dillard.
Yeah, yeah, he's a bad boy. Bad boy.
He
Yeah,
gets
bad
it
boy.
done for sure. Well, thank you for spending some time with us today, man.
Yes.
And we look forward to sharing this new recording, a
Uh,
lasting impression, with the audience all week long.
Yeah,
On,
thank you
on
for having me on your show. Thank you for having me on New Day, man. I mean, you've been a great help. And thank you for making that Bobby Watson post town mo. What is it?
Post Motown Bob
Oh yeah, yeah, man. I listened to that all the other day, man, all the way home, man. It's one of my favorite records.
and Christy Dashiell's daddy, Carol Dashiell, was the bassist in
Yeah,
Bobby
yeah,
Watson's Horizon group at the time.
yeah. That's a bad record.
That leaves a lasting impression too, man. That's one of my faves back from the
Right, yeah,
80s.
yeah. Victor Lewis plays drums. Yeah, and I used to study with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Scary
Great.
stuff, man. Well, thank you for spending some time with us today. The new record is Lasting Impression, and it will do just that for you. It'll
Uh,
leave a lasting impression.
Thank you
Brandon
so.
Sanders, thank you very much. And look for him, by the way, in an upcoming episode of Sports Jam, because what a lot of people don't know is at the University of Kansas, if you're following basketball now, one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah,
And this cat was a walk-on
yeah,
and
yeah.
ended up making the team. So,
Yeah,
his
yeah,
sense of rhythm's down in his feet too, man.
yeah, 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 yeah. We could, yeah, tell them, contact me. I love talking about basketball. I can talk about that all day.
Brandon, thanks for your time, man. We look forward to sharing this new record, Lasting Impression, with the
Thank,
audience.
all right. Thank you so much. Hey, have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, let's talk soon. All right, bye-bye.